Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Welcome in, and most of us are here. How are you, Damon? It's good to see you.
Great to see you. Doing great. Been home. Had a 31st comedy anniversary weekend this past weekend, and people came out. So thank you, Chicago.
Awesome.
Um, and we did my mother's 80th birthday and gave her a big old giant surprise party. So it was fun
Was
and
that
good.
at the bowling alley?
No, that was the day before. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
That was her actual birthday. We surprised her Sunday.
Oh, nice. That is so nice. 80. God bless her. God bless
Amen.
her. And holding up the world there, doing the best that he can. Cameron, Riley, how are you?
I'm well, Sybil. I'm well. Shout out to Black and Fit. Got me working on my chair pose, so
Is
my shoulders are quite fit for the job here.
okay.
Holding up the show in place of Ahmed Gordon.
Your chair poses. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Well, did you all have good holidays?
Oh man, yeah. Thanksgiving was great. People came through. My mom made a new dish. She made oxtail stew this year, which was
Ooh,
a
wee.
huge hit. It is now gone. Uh,
That's not a leftover that you had for very
no,
long, I don't suspect.
yeah, no leftovers for oxtail stew.
Oh,
Well, that's always a
wow.
good sign when it's not when
Hmm.
it's gone.
Okay, absolutely. And how about you, Damon? Were you working on the holiday?
No, I was home. My wife cooked, so we did that first, and then my sister and I and my mother went to my niece's apartment. So this is her first time, her first apartment. So we took food over there because of course she didn't cook yet. But instead of
Did
her having to come to Mama's house, we took the dinner to her.
Oh, was she unable to travel?
No, I'm sure it could have been at Mama's house, but not. I had never been over there yet, and
Oh,
so
so this is a first for everybody. Okay,
yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, breaking
got
into
it.
place. And my
Got
son
it.
stood by there, so it was cool. Family is family. Thanksgiving is all about the family. The food is cool, but
Right.
when we can get together and laugh and joke, it's always great.
So
How,
Yeah.
how
ours
about you?
it was very quiet. We were going to go out to dinner, and Yolanda and Ward and Yolanda got a very bad cold, and so we brought
Oh
food
no.
in on Thanksgiving, and it was a disappointment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Where'd
don't
you all
know.
order from? Put them on blast.
No, it's our old standby Lubies, but they were really working to serve the masses, and I stood in line for an hour to get
Mm,
into Lubies, and then alongside some very chatty people, and I even though I had my earbuds in and I was on the phone, and then this one lady just kept trying to engage me in conversation. Well, once she got inside, she made her choices very well known and was quite vocal what she did and did not want with the people who were serving. I don't think that's a good idea
nope.
to do that, but God bless her.
I've
uh,
worked back a house. I know what happens to the food when
Thank you.
there are irate customers.
Yeah.
That's scary. And the time you stood in line, you could have cooked the turkey.
You know what? Very well. If I were the type to cook a turkey, yes, that
There you go.
exactly would have
There's that.
happened. There is that. But overall, it was a beautiful day here in Dallas Fort Worth, and it has started to get a little bit colder. But it was just one of those days. Took food into the sick and shut in. That would be Yolanda and Ward, who has a very peculiar diet, very strict diet. I shouldn't call it peculiar. He, got a little bit of something for him, and then I got kind of a mishmash. I didn't have much of a taste, so it was just one of those days. But I will say that I was surprised so many people were going to Luby's, to the cafeteria itself,
Mm.
to get food on Thanksgiving Day. When I tell you the line was out the door to the parking lot, which is a consider, and as I said, and we couldn't just go to the carry out section. It was really quite busy, and God bless all those people who are moving us in and moving us out.
Well, it's
When I
probably more
first went,
practical. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
when I
Sorry.
first went vegetarian, out my, I ordered my Thanksgiving meal from this spot called Chicago Diner, super
Hmm.
OG like vegetarian restaurant, and it was delicious. But yeah, I had to put the order a month in advance, and
Oh,
then even
wow.
going there to pick it up, I had to wait in line for like an hour. It was delicious. It was very much worth the wait, but sometimes ordering out is the way to go. I have no
Right.
shame in it. My grandma would have had a heart attack if we ordered food out for Thanksgiving, but I helped pick the greens and I helped with the sweet potatoes this year. So I
Oh,
think I've earned
nice.
some. Yeah, I think I've earned some stripes this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
That's good because I'm useless on Thanksgiving. That's
Do you at least pour a nice drink, a nice adult beverage?
I watch football. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, did you see Dolly Parton?
Well,
I've been trying my best not to roast Dolly because I know she's so beloved.
She
But
real, but Damon, no,
come on, I mean, she looked good except her
77.
shorts look like a diaper.
Yeah. Well, oh God.
I mean, in comparison, because they kept flashing between her and the other. The contrast was way
Emma,
too
man,
much.
those were depends. Those were depends. It's all right.
Oh
It's
my
okay.
God.
It's
Oh
okay.
my God.
It's
Oh,
okay.
poor Dolly. Poor
I'm
Dolly.
sure that's not the reaction you were looking for.
That was not
Dolly
the
depends.
Dolly had on the Dallas Cowgirl cheerleader outfit,
And holding
and
on to the stage for dear life.
that's okay
Amen.
for 77. I don't know
I
where
would
we're
too.
gonna be at 77. I would be holding on too.
I ain't gonna be in that kind of shape.
Okay. No.
She
We're
could have.
gonna-
She could have wore the Dallas Cowgirl short skirts.
Yeah, that's true.
That might
That's
have
true.
been
That's
a better
true.
look. But she was. She looks great. She's. She leaned against the thing a couple of times, and
And who among us at this age even is not leaning sometimes, but
right.
but it's
Yeah.
crazy. Mad, welcome in. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry that I'm late. When you're at this age and you have to go to the pharmacy before they close. When you've been waiting for something for a while and they finally get it in and they tell you, oh, I gotta go before they give it to somebody else. Let me go get that.
Right,
Must be date night.
Woo, we came in.
Now call the babysitter.
Okay, all right. Let's take care of the kiddo. You had a traveling kind of Thanksgiving vacation.
Yeah, so we went down to Naples.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I look. So my cousin talks about how great Naples is. She keeps on telling me how great Naples is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, let's just go down. It was a very last minute decision to go down there. When you live in Georgia, you can kind of do those things. We went down there, and look, I haven't seen that many white people all together at one time in a long time.
From Atlanta.
Look, Sybil, we family here.
Okay, call it.
It's been a long time since I felt uncomfortable, where I felt I was going to get put out because of my clothes. I was like, is my dress code appropriate? Because, hey, Damon, you know how it was back in the day when the dress code changes when you walk in. They're like, sir, you can't wear those kind of shorts in here. I was just like, I don't know what, I was like ready for it when I walked in, but they were very pleasant. Naples people was very pleasant. Nothing for kids to do. Right. I asked my cousin, like, what do y'all do? She said, oh, we stay on the resort. I'm like, I didn't do resort. I just stayed it down. I'm like, this is not it at all. Mm-hmm. Beaches were cool. It was a beach, and then you go into a restaurant, and then you took it back to the hotel. There was nothing to see, nothing to do. I mean, maybe there's an arcade around here for Blake to go to. Yeah. Gambling arcades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm like, all right. This is the last time we come to Naples. God,
that was my old stomping grounds. My first radio job was in Southwest Florida, but I was telling Med that it was in Fort Myers, and Naples was where you go for brunch and nice dinners and things like that. Fort Myers is really where kids stuff happens. Yeah. Fort Myers Beach, they have activities and other things to keep them occupied.
It was a land of khakis and polos, man. It was it was something to see.
Gay, because that is also, as I used to say, was where people would go to finalize their wills. And
Believe
although
it.
they've tried to young it down, it's still
They're
quite
not trying to
crazy.
young nothing down in
Yeah.
Naples,
Oh,
Florida.
you said Ben Gay. I thought you said and then gay. I'm like, on top of all of it, Ben Gay. No,
Ben
okay.
Gay.
Oh,
Like,
golly.
really? I never
The
knew that.
khakis and the polos, it all flowed together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll talk about that a little bit, maybe in a little bit more time to have, but
No,
we
we
have
won't.
got to talk about
Not
what
Naples.
you need to know.
We're done with
newsletter.
Naples.
Okay, we're done. We're
Never
finished.
again.
We're finished. Let's talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our newsletter we put together Monday through Friday, and the stories are to super serve, inform, and empower our African American readers. And in today's newsletter, Cameron Riley tells us a crazy story about a situation involving upcoming elections in Michigan, and especially a high profile or a well known name in the entertainment field who is running for the Democratic Senate nomination. But somebody wanted to move him out of that race and into another to create havoc in a
I love this
congressional race.
story, Cameron. I loved this story.
Crazy.
I love this story.
Hill Harper demonstrating his political experience or lack thereof because apparently he can't take bribes properly.
He's not from Chicago.
Hill Harper is, quote, not bossed, bullied, or bought. He is running for U.S. Senate in Michigan against the Democratic frontrunner Congresswoman Elisa Slotkin, and he's been trying to drum up support in that race. But just last week, he was offered $20 million to instead mount a primary challenge against Representative Rashida Tlaib. Representative Rashida Tlaib censored in the U.S. Congress for speaking out against Israel. She's very pro-Palestine, hangs a Palestinian flag outside of her office, always shaking things up on the House floor, and she had riled up this businessman Lyndon Nelson so much that he offered Hill Harper $20 million to, first of all, move to her district because he doesn't live in her district, and then mount a campaign against her. Hill Harper took to Twitter, now currently known as X, saying that he is not bossed, bullied, or bought to solicit campaign
Shout out
donations.
to Shirley Chisholm.
Indeed, yes. I did not know that Hill Harper quit his day job to run for this election.
Really?
He left.
Yeah.
He left The Good Doctor, which he was on for 7 seasons, and that's not a bad check. But he quit his day job to run for this. So. Those of you out there in Michigan, those of you who are in Harper's district, please show up for your boy because he quit his day job.
Well, everybody's in his district if he's running for the U.S. Senate. So
Okay, right.
that is, but I'm not sure if he quit the Good Doctor, if the Good Doctor quit him. I think that they have wrapped for their 7 seasons and they're pretty much done. But he does have a strong political leaning and supported his former classmate, law school classmate, Barack Obama, and has that kind of political connection. So. Man, that really does sound like something out of Chicago. It does not sound like Michigan to me, but I'm sorry.
Here's my thing when I read the article from Cameron. I was so shocked that the name was dropped. I was like,
right.
It's okay to say that somebody offered me $20 million and I won't be bought, but that's fine. But the name was dropped?
Call him out.
You called out and I don't think it was Hill. I think it was somebody in his campaign that put the name out there. I'm like, hey, I don't think we're supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to say the name of the person that offered the money. You just say, hey, somebody offered me this money, and I'm like, which would have been a great, like, I'm not gonna be bought, bullied, whatever. That's great. Run with that. But you dropped the name. And that might scare a lot of folks.
or anger them.
Mm-hmm. What he wasn't supposed to do was turn it down. He just lost his job, man. It was a writer's strike going on. Nobody would have been mad. I would have took the money and threw the race. And got me a nice little house in Michigan. And no laws broken here.
Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It was just unbelievable. And Rashida Tlaib is going to have a difficult time, as they say, she will be primaried, as they say in the business. Have someone run against her in the Democratic primary for the nomination to run for U.S. Congresswoman. She is a part of the squad, including Ocasio Cortez, Ayanna Presley, and from Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, and that's the group that came in together, and none of them are having as quite a difficult time or as seasoned as she has. Ilhan Omar has had her challenges too as a Somali
Hmm.
American. But this was just unbelievable. How much do they hate this woman that they would offer this and not there's a lot of political naivete. I'm not sure if it's on this man's part to send your emissary, maybe, to say, Mr. X, and X not being from Twitter,
Hmm.
would like to encourage you
Encourage
to,
you.
yes,
Exactly.
to consider jumping into the congressional race and ditch the great job of the U.S. Senate where he could make a difference. But
Right.
Elise Lockton is a heavy hitter and in the state of Michigan and is expected to do well. So I don't know how this is really fascinating to me, how this is all going to play out.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I do too. I do
Along
too.
with along with the George Santos stuff, this is
Oh.
great. George Santos says, if I'm going down, I'm burning the house with me. Yes, George.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
George won't be with us long.
all the other cross dressers too will probably be grabbing their skirts.
He's like, look
Uh,
here, you want to know some real dirt? Watch this.
okay. Okay. So that is just one of the stories that we have in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Please also take a look at our CPA to the stars, Katrina Kraft. She gives a wonderful weekly message to help people out as far as tax advantages and her year-end tax strategies for business owners. Take a look at that. We also talk about Israel Hamas because there's a lot going on there. This is the 2-day extension of the truce has been extended, or I said extension, but the 2-day truce, this was the first of the 2 days. And they, as promised, they had hostages who were released and Palestinian prisoners as well. And it's a lot of that. Khameron mentioned Black and Fit. We also have those things. We send you a birthday shout out if you like. All of this, and it's absolutely free. We have some hardworking young contributors like Khameron and Coy Malone, social justice, Cameron's little sister Quinn in the LGBTQ realm, and mental health and wellness. That is Aprilette Russell. So check us out, and I think that you will enjoy it. And if you don't, we'll give you your money back. But
Full refund.
It's
full,
funny because it's
full.
free. It's funny.
There you go. There you go. So please check us out and make a great holiday gift as well. So as I've been reminded, just kind of chatty, but there's so much I wanted to talk with you guys about. Let us move to the other news of the day, and this also has to do with our question of the day, the "What's really going on?" question. I kind of asked this yesterday with George Wallace and Coy Malone, but I really wanted to get the guy panel in on this and have this discussion, especially about the Black male celebrities in the news and lawsuits brought against them.
Oh
Um,
yes. Oh
this,
yes. Bloody Wednesday.
oh my God,
Hey.
yeah, Bloody Wednesday and Thursday
And
into this because of
that was crazy.
the end of the deadline came to and came to Thursday night, in especially in New York State, where you could the rules were relaxed and gave you a year to refile a sexual assault lawsuit
Mm.
against someone, and
Is it
so it
called
came
the
down to the wire.
Adult Protection Act or something like that? The
That's
adult.
that's it. Yeah, New York Adult Survivors Act.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, among the people whose names cropped up, obviously, Sean Diddy Combs was sued by his former girlfriend, Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura. She
Mm-hmm.
claimed that he physically and sexually abused her, that he would provide her with copious amounts of drugs. He settled that case the day after it was filed. She was asking for $30 million. They settled for an unknown amount unless
$30 million.
somebody knows. So you think
Yeah.
so that was always my question, because a lot of people I talked to, well, it's really 10,
Probably 30.
20.
I'm not
I thought you started 30 in a case like that and then go up from there.
I think, hey, look here, man. That thing ended in one day. I think
Yeah.
she got most of her money that she wanted.
I think she
Yeah.
may have gotten even more than 30 because publicly she was requesting 30. And now if you really want to shut me up or go to court, now the price just went up. I tried to let you off with a little 30, man. You know, so
I tried to be nice.
It was getting too, Diddy settled way too fast for the money to have dropped.
And I think he did that because there were 2 other lawsuits that were filed later.
Right behind it.
Two more women came forward to accuse him of sexual assault. The first woman, identified in court documents as Jane Doe, alleges that Combs and singer Aaron Hall raped her and her friend at Hall's apartment back in the 90s. A few days later, her filing states that Combs showed up to her home and choked her until she passed out. And a second woman, who identified herself as Joy Dickerson Neal, alleges that Combs drugged and sexually assaulted her while she was a student at Syracuse. Back in 1991, she said she reluctantly went on a date with Combs, during which he intentionally drugged her before taking her to a place that he was staying to sexually assault her. All 3 of these fell under the New York's Adult Survivors Act, which allowed victims of sexual assault 1 year to sue their alleged abusers. So my question is, what's the discussion at the barbershop? What's the discussion that we're having with our young people, young men at the, I'm sorry, men, Damon, it may not be the barbershop. It may be just a place where you all hang out.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
At the back of the comedy club, or or a podcast. An opportunity for you all to have these discussions, especially with young men, and say, look, this happened 30 years ago and this was very common. This cannot happen anymore. We must stop this.
The conversation that's happening right now is don't be Aaron Hall and don't be telling on yourself
wow.
to Vlad TV.
Wow.
He literally admitted to this on Vlad. And now this is an interview he did probably a while ago that no one cared about. No one cared about or thought about until now. Now that interview is replaying everywhere.
Everywhere. Yep.
And he literally
the
said,
irony of it is he's the bad guy in the interview and he's talking to a pimp. It's Bishop Juan.
Right.
He is worse than the pimp in this interview.
He is God. Like, when I heard it, I'm like, I've never really heard Aaron Hall talk before. And
so, because he used to have a speech impediment, he said.
Look, man. And I was like, this man crazy. He's absolutely insane to be out here talking like this. And now the Gloria Velez thing, her being 16 when she got pregnant, it's like, you going to jail, bro.
Yeah.
And he said, then he names Diddy. Yeah, Diddy saw me do it. I'm like, oh my God.
This is so not going to end well.
That's probably where that lyric came from. Dum dum diddy.
Okay, and and dumb Aaron too.
Very much so.
Dum dum diddy.
But definitely the dumb Diddy fits well.
That's Aaron.
But
the conversation we had, we have a male group chat, and Dion Cole actually posted the complaint of Cassie with all of the details, and all of the men were highly upset. We were offended. We were thinking about our sisters and wives and daughters going through some of this abuse and issues. They're not a bunch of young guys in there that we could have counseled from that, but it's definitely outrage. It's definitely disgust and disdain for that man. And, I believe it. There's a video that 50 Cent, who trolls him daily if he can,
very much so, yeah,
just posted a video of Diddy trying to force Cassie to be on camera, and she's covered herself in a blanket to conceal herself away from him and his phone. And he's like, look at this mess. And he's basically taunting her on Snapchat. So clearly there was a pattern of abuse, and she deserves her money. Some people say, why did she stay that long? You can't blame the victim for their circumstances. It's just He had the power, he had the money, he had the age, he had the.
She was
influence.
19.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She was 19. He was 40.
Yeah.
And he was Diddy.
And when she did say, "Look, there's somebody else I'm going to break up with you," he went and blew up the dude's car.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that kind of
Insult.
just violence. I mean, just look at what he's done to her and what he is willing to do to someone else.
And the fact that he has access to people that know how to blow up cars.
He's a real villain from like a car.
Yeah, because usually, somebody like, blow this. You ain't never heard no black people say they're gonna blow something up and actually do it. He's the first official black bomber because we swear, say something, blow up this whole place. Ain't nobody never blew up a firecracker. Diddy.
Diddy got henchmen. Hey, who did you know that who actually has henchmen? Diddy got henchmen.
Man,
this is like black mafia stuff.
Yes. Yeah, truly. It's just like when you hear about people hiring a hitman, it turns out to be a federal agent because they're always a federal agent.
Right.
But he actually has a real bomber on duty. That's very interesting and scary.
That's crazy.
I mean, but for me, when that was first announced, and I said this on social media, I said, I wasn't. The only thing that surprised me about the allegations was that it came from a woman. Because if you're in the industry long enough, you kind of know and hear things. And I'm just like, oh, it was a woman that complained? Oh, okay. I'm kind of surprised by that.
And you were a part of a chorus that said that too, man. There were a lot of people making that same intention made regarding this. So
and those videos have been coming out too. It's been a full-on assault on Diddy, and he's just stepped down from his network Revolt today.
And the charter school that he was affiliated with, they have separated their relationship with him as well. Along with Sean Combs, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jamie Foxx, Jimmy Iovine, and Bill Cosby, another lawsuit against Bill Cosby, claiming the actor drugged and sexually assaulted her back in the 80s. And a spokesperson for Combs said that he denies the allegations, sharing that the claims involving the alleged misconduct against him from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute are all completely denied and rejected. And he recognizes this as a money grab, as did Jamie Foxx, denying the sexual assault allegations, claims the accuser filed nearly an identical lawsuit before. A statement released on behalf of Jamie said that the incident never happened. And a spokesperson said the alleged incident in 2020, this individual filed a nearly identical lawsuit in Brooklyn. This case was dismissed shortly thereafter.
Mayor Adams? Did you say Mayor Adams too?
I did not. And that is, well, he's got enough on him with the Turkish.
Yeah.
But you're right. Mayor Eric Adams also, a woman that he claims he never met, did not have any memory of this when he was a member of the New York Police Department.
Yeah, wow. and then for the sports fans out there, Marcellus Wiley.
Wiley was another
while he was at Columbia College in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and they just kept on. They were just coming in back to back.
I mean, the clock was ticking, and the lawyers were getting these done. Yes. And I'm telling you, the first lawsuit filed by Cassie was so beautifully written. It was like a screenplay. They put it and made the pictures come alive through their words in this lawsuit.
One day to settle. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, do we know if any non-famous, unrich people were sued?
So that was asked, and there was a lot of people that were like non-famous got it too. So it wasn't just the famous people. It was New York was creep day. They got their they all got it.
Like with the Eric Adams thing, it was, people who were work for, civil departments in the New York City government and things like that. There were accusations and lawsuits that were filed. And that's a legitimate question. It's not just, a money grab on behalf of women and their famous aggressors, but definitely it was everybody felt the touch of this Survivors Act. And,
I mean, I'm not even besmirching them for the money aspect because it's civil court.
Right.
Court. Yeah, so I guess the lawyers probably wouldn't even take the case if if the Amazon driver did it. That's
Right.
another thing. So
Right. Yeah.
But I'm also thinking that there's plenty of rich folk that aren't public figures that probably got hit with it too. That so that's what I'm thinking. So like non-famous, I think definitely there's some non-famous people that got hit.
There has to be some CEOs and a couple of other.
But Damon's like,
oh, for sure,
the broke ones. Probably not as many though.
Right. And there are a lot of famous businessmen but people don't recognize them or their jobs or their companies with which they are affiliated to bring those to the public eye either. But you bring up Diddy, you bring up Jamie Foxx, you bring up Jimmy Iovine, the music mogul who made all his money with Dr. Dre and the beats and things like that. And you bring up Bill Cosby again, just where he's finally getting back into the house, and now they're bringing another lawsuit against him, and I don't even know the number of women now that have alleged these things against him or have filed successfully against him. But
what did J-Lo know?
Ooh,
what did J-Lo
because it was during that time that a lot of these things.
What did J-Lo know?
She knew to get out. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
When the bullets started flying.
And she started dating white and Hispanic boys too.
I want no problems.
you can call me Benifer if you want, but whatever you call me, just don't you just better not raise your hand to me.
Don't call me.
I think Ben Affleck gonna sue her one day. Every time you see him, he looks like he's being abused.
He looks miserable.
He looks miserable.
Oh my God.
And that's another question too. Were any women sued during this whole process?
Yeah, absolutely. And
any
that's
male
fair
survivors
too.
out there.
That's fair too. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this goes and what the fallout. As we mentioned, Diddy has stepped away from his media company and also the charter school Revolt. He was stepping down as chairman of Revolt, the company he founded in 2013, and Capital Prep Harlem, a charter school opened by Diddy in 2016, announced its parting ways in a statement released from Dr. Steve Perry, the founder of Capital Preparatory School. So the sagas will continue. And
rough week.
And it would be unfortunate if that school suffers because of this.
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
Yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of, and I'm going to talk about this because I saw my sleeping habits are a little bizarre, but I saw a documentary at the suggestion of Yolanda the other night, and it's called BS High, about the fake school that was in Ohio. Yeah, have you seen it, Damon?
I've seen enough of it.
Okay. That's going to be my assignment. Yeah, the football team. That's gonna be my assignment because I really want to talk to you guys about this man, about the situation that was created, and how the young men suffered from this. And if you have not seen it, it's called BS High, and it's on Max, formerly HBO Max. So please take a look at that if you can.
A lot of BS at BS High.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And he defends it to this day. I think he still has. I think he still has a team that he travels with.
Yeah,
so
he committed to the bit. Yep.
It's crazy.
It is. It's awful. It is just awful. And how he got away with this. Got away. But if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. It's called BS High, and it is on Max. So I hope that Khameron, I hope that you can take a look at it as well. If we have to pass a passcode on to you, let me know.
Oh no.
All right, let's move to trending topics. Damon, you mentioned your comedy anniversary. What was the date on that?
It was November 24th and 25th, and it coincided with my mother's birthday and Thanksgiving weekend, so that would now be the annual week. I think I used to do it on the 12th, but I think so when I can be home for Thanksgiving and for my mother's birthday, I'll just keep it there as a tradition. But coming up this weekend, though, we have 10 Chicago comedians, all 10 of us. I'm talking George Wilborn, Tony Schofield, Leon Rogers, the list goes on. And we're all doing a show at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. And it's gonna be like a reunion. Everybody, it's really like an all jokes aside reunion. All of us started and all jokes together. We all have 25 plus years together, and we're gonna do this big show. So that's the thing I'm really looking forward to, just to see everybody hang out and laugh and joke.
And Marsha Warfield?
Marsha Warfield was great. Her weekend was awesome. I had a chance to talk to her about the story that she wasn't aware that I was a part of when her career started to decline. She said this was one of the things that led her down the spiral, was when she performed at Star Plaza Theater some 30 years ago. Well, it was in 94. And she bombed and she left the stage in like 7 or 8 minutes. So I was in the audience because I knew Cedric, and I went backstage and asked if I could do some time to fill the space, and they allowed me to. And that's how subsequently I got to Star Plaza Theater every year for New Year's Eve. But she didn't know that somebody went up after her, and I interviewed her one-on-one, which is it's on YouTube right now, Damon and Marsha one-on-one. And she was like, "Oh man, that was the worst day ever." She said, "That's one of only 2 times I ever failed in this business, but ain't no shame in my game." And she goes on to tell the story of how she was high, and you know, she told her to give Sid her money because she said she didn't earn it, and she did about 8 minutes and walked off. But her weekend is so great to see her now fully immersed back into the art and craft of stand-up. She had a ball. She had some old friends show up. Our mothers worked together back in the day. She didn't know that either. My mother and my son's other grandmother and Marsha's mother all worked for Illinois Bell together at the same time.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was a lot. It was fun. It's a 15-minute or 13-minute interview. If you all want to see that, it's on YouTube on my page.
You say YouTube. Okay. All right.
Yep.
And tell us how we can get tickets for the Harold Washington Cultural Event Center.
Easily at eventbrite.com, and at this point you can walk right up to the Harold Washington Culture Center at showtime and get some tickets because they're not sold out yet. So I would say they're going to pick up now that the holiday has passed. But eventbrite.com, look up Harold Washington Culture Center, Chi-Town Laugh Fest.
And where will you be for New Year's Eve this year?
United Center. Yes, I'll be with Cedric the Entertainer, DL, Earthquake, Bruce, and Don DC Curry. We're all doing that. That's the 4-city tour. So we're going to Atlanta on the 28th. We're doing Houston.
December?
December 28th, Atlanta. December 29th, DC. December 30th, Houston, and back home on New Year's Eve at the United Center. So the last time I did comedy with comedians there, I was the opening act. Now I'm on the flyer.
Come on.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, thanks for that little window of chatter. Thank you, Sybil.
That's excellent.
Hey, Damon, hopefully I can get you in studio when you come down to Atlanta this time. Definitely going to try and get you on, man.
Okay, let me know.
Definitely.
Yep.
That's awesome. How cold is it, fellas?
It's so cold in Chicago, Cameron.
But
I'm freezing down to my knickers.
That's with the K. You gotta hit that K hard in that word, man.
Knickers, yes.
Like Steve Kerr's son.
Right.
Nick Kerr.
The coldest air of the season roaring into central, eastern, and southeastern and southern U.S. today, sending temperatures nosediving to the midwinter levels all the way from the Midwest to Florida. Not expected to be record-breaking yet. It is a shock to our systems as the first cold waves of the season are here. And the funny thing is, you guys in Chicago got snow, and the overnight snow ban hasn't even gone into effect. Usually like, oh, it's too soon, December 1st. Oh, no, they should wait. And now, you know, they had, what'd you guys get, like 3 inches of snow in some places?
It was more like a dusting.
A dusting.
It didn't stick. The ground is too warm, so it was okay. But still, you know, for it to be snowing already, we really should just now be getting into the use your furnace month. Now, you know, we should still be able to not use your furnace and be paying off your payment arrangement from last winter. Okay. But now there's a new bill starting. That's how I gauge my seasons, by utility payments. October, really September, October, early November should be no utility, like no heat or air conditioner. But this year, the furnace is blowing.
Yeah, we've had some
Yeah.
cold, but nothing as cold as you guys have. We've had upper 30s, lower 40-degree mornings, but you know, it warms up during the day. It's like 65 this afternoon. But there is that juggle between the air conditioner and the heating, and so you know, our big bills are in the summertime with the air conditioners, and of
Right.
course, and not so much. It kind of, you know,
Yeah,
falls
You know,
off.
there's no juggle here. We're firmly entrenched in heat.
right.
Yeah.
It's always funny when I wake up in the morning, it's 34 degrees, 32 degrees, and it's like time to get my son ready to go to school. And it's
Right.
like, all right, so what do you wear to school? I'm gonna put on your jacket. And then in the middle of the day, it's like, but today the highs got up to like the 50s, like 50,
Wow.
52, 50, 53. So that chill just kind of stayed in the air a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
They say that over 100 million Americans are experiencing some form of a cold blast. As you said, Damon, most won't see measurable snow areas around the Great Lakes, but there is some lake effect snow of the season. One spot in New York already picking up 2 feet of snow in New York
Wow.
State.
2 feet. Geez.
2 feet.
Yeah, I mean, if the
uh,
conditions allow right now, if it snowed, it'd be a real snow today.
yeah,
We're down in the 20s now. So
Yeesh.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. So they say that Western New York, Northwestern Pennsylvania, Northeast Ohio, over a foot of snow has fallen along Lake Ontario in New York, and the highest so far was 23 inches reported in Constableville, New York, which is east of Lake Ontario. And it is winter is here. I mean, we're still in the fall. I mean, we still have a lot of leaves on our trees, not much turning of the colors of the leaves, but still a lot of leaves there. Um, Today was an awesome day for me because I love events like this, and especially when they honor such very special people. And this was the third of three services held in honor of former First Lady Roselyn Carter. This really brought me back to a time in my life growing up and made me miss my mom a lot because my mother is the one who turned me on to watching Roselyn Carter and how she worked and the ways that she enhanced her husband's administration and the things that she did as a first lady. And so hearing all of the words of praise heaped upon her and her memory was really quite special to me. And watching this and the honors that everyday people, as well as each of the former first ladies, attended her service today, including Melania Trump.
Oh,
It was
dope.
very interesting that this club of sorts that they have, the power that they have, their programs that they have these days are all thanks to, and bringing it into this century are thanks to Roselyn Carter. She
right.
and President Carter married for 77 years. He was there at the funeral today in a wheelchair and did not speak. He is not able to, according to reports, but they said he would not miss this one of the last goodbyes he was able to make to his wife. And when they decided to put him in hospice, he said, "You can do whatever you want, but you're taking me home because I am going to be there and be able to hold my wife's hand and look in her eyes every day." And they had
Mhm.
a tremendous love story
Mhm.
that their daughter Amy, as a matter of fact, read from a letter that he wrote to her back in 75 years ago when he was in the Navy. And that love story continued until her dying day. Their beds even were arranged in their house so they could face each other. And you know, I think about, you know, you hear about couples that, you know, ultimately they live in separate rooms of the house and things like this, but they were just partners for life for
Hillary
77
and
years.
Bill. I'm sorry.
We're there, kind of sitting there, but together, but not. No, I don't know what they were, but they were both there, and they recognized the power of Rosalind and Jimmy Carter because they gave them the Presidential Medal of Freedom before Bill Clinton left office. But
Mhm.
it was so beautiful, and it just makes you think about, how you're going to leave this world and how
Yeah.
you want to be remembered.
I was, I thought about, during this whole thing, of course, it being here in Georgia,
Hmm.
they're royalty here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If there's a royal couple in the state, it's those two here in Georgia.
Mhm.
And especially it's funny being a red state, Jimmy and the Carters, being that prominent down here.
Mhm.
But it makes me think, just because as I get older, I remember when Ronald Reagan passed away. I remember when these other presidents passed away during my lifetime, and I just remember them being
Right.
old. And now I'm thinking about, well, after Jimmy, then there's Bushes, and then there's Clintons, and I'm just like, I don't see, and it's just like thinking about how everyone's going to be treated
Right.
and thought of. Like,
Yeah.
I think that Jimmy Carter is going to be the last president
Right.
that gets universally loved like that.
And I think the universal love came after his term
Yes.
ended, because of all the things they did. But it's really interesting. I'm wondering how, because I was thinking about this today with President Biden, how he will be remembered, how Bill Clinton will be remembered, how President Obama will be remembered, because even the first Bush, and when Barbara Bush died, and George H.W. Bush died, it wasn't this kind of love. It just
No,
wasn't. It just
no,
wasn't.
and the thing, and what's gonna sadden me is when you get to the presidents of the now
Hmm.
with social media the way it is.
Yeah.
It's just, you're gonna have a lot of division when these
Oh, for
presidents
sure. Yeah.
pass on, and there's not going to be the respect that former presidents got.
Right.
Because like when Ronald Reagan passed, I didn't know anything about his policies, and I was a kid, I was young, and then when I was just like, I didn't know, but I just remember him lying in state. I remember the respect, all the presidents. I just remember all of that. I just remember the respect he got. Now being an adult and living through these presidents, I'm just like, I don't know if we're ever going to see that again. It's going to be like, well, he wasn't this, he wasn't that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Obama goes.
I don't even think Reagan had that universal love. I mean, I'm sure he
No.
didn't. Yeah.
Probably
No, not
no,
definitely.
in the case of Reagan.
Not from the country as a whole.
Right.
There are a lot of even Republicans that are still crying that the party of Reagan no longer exists. And that was the fear.
I just think it'll be louder now. I just think it'll be extremely loud now when these presidents pass. The issues that they had with them. That's all. I just don't remember hearing it when these other ones passed. But Jimmy, well, I know Jimmy's still here, but when Jimmy goes, it's going to be, I think, universally respect and move on.
Yeah, the church was filled to the brim, and they will have a private service tomorrow, and this will be at their home church, and she'll be buried on the property, so that he can visit her grave and things like that. But and to your point, Ned, they don't think that it'll be much longer before we are revisiting, this kind of service. But
Right.
I gotta give Melania Trump credit, because she really could have just turned her back on this. And whatever you think about her and her husband, the fact that she attended and paid her respects to a woman who did make such a difference in that
Probably
arena.
had to Google her before she came, but it's fine.
You know what? I'm going to give Melania some love here. I think she got put into a situation that was impossible, honestly, for her, and she dealt with it the best as she could, and she just tried to stay out the way and stay out the headlines and just live her life
and concentrate on raising her child.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to all the pomps and circumstance, they'll tell her, hey, you should show up for this. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And she'll pop up.
I'm sure her first question was Donald going? And when they said no, she said, okay, I'll go.
I'm in.
Right.
I'll go wherever he ain't, that's where I'd like to be.
Right.
It was really quite incredible. The people that participated, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks sang "Imagine," which really choked me up. The Beatles song, but it is the relationships that they built with people post White House years, and the legacies that they will leave behind. Really quite touching, and her history of paving the way for mental health care. for recognizing as a child taking care of her father who was suffering from cancer. That developed her devotion to giving caregivers and caregiving aspects of our families, giving that importance, and equal rights amendment, which had pretty much come to an end, but thanks to Phyllis Schlafly and others. But she was very insistent that even if we could not get that passed as a country within Jimmy Carter's White House, every person on her staff, on the First Lady's staff, was paid commensurate to what they were paid in the West Wing.
I think she was because she was like the first publicly known First Lady to actually be in those meetings.
The cabinet meetings, yeah. And she got a lot of pushback on that.
Got a lot of pushback, but she was the one that when politicians needed Jimmy to
get his ear,
they went to her.
Right.
And she went, and if she agreed with them, she would then be the one to go to Jimmy and say, look, this is what we need to do. And she would be the one that could sometimes turn the tide.
And she told him that. She said, I want to help you, but I have to be in the room. I have to be in those meetings to know what I'm talking about. I just can't take it from you. I have to be able to point to him. Remember, we talked about this, this, and this. This is why we need to go here. This is why we need to do thus and such. And so she was really quite an incredible woman. So God bless you, Roselyn Carter, and thank you for all that you've done for so many people. And let's close out with entertainment. And Beyonce's mama is taking folks to task for talking about her baby girl.
The light-skinnedness.
The light-skinned returns. Miss Tina Knowles is defending Beyonce after fans accused her of lightening her skin. We're there again. Her response came in the face of accusations the singer is lightening her skin and hair to look white, saying she's had enough of the negative narratives. She sounded off today on social media, reacting to scores of online fan comments questioning her daughter's look at Saturday's premiere of her Renaissance movie. They're just haters. And that's exactly what Miss Tina said, referencing to comments on her platinum blonde hair. Ain't nothing wrong with some platinum blonde, I'm just saying. And skin color. Some comments even accuse her of bleaching her skin. We cannot do this. We cannot. This is just so ridiculous. She said those accusations are stupid, ignorant, self-hating, and racist. And she says it's sad that some Black people continue with a stupid narrative with hate and jealousy.
And then you look at that picture and say, somebody lightened something.
Somebody did, and it was the lighting.
It's the lighting. It was like when I saw the pictures, first of all, I was like, this seems like such a cheap backdrop. I was like, what is going on here? And then like the lighting it washed her out. And then with the bleach, it was a terrible picture.
They were trying to go for the silver effect from the Renaissance, but I don't think it succeeded.
It just with the silver on, the silver hair, the terrible backdrop, and the bright light, it washed her completely out. Like she's not bleaching her skin. Let's stop that.
No, but you can put filters on photos to make yourself look lighter, and it appeared that had been done. Because when I first saw it, I thought it was Angelina Jolie in a younger picture. It was she's bright on this picture.
So you haven't seen Nene Leakes pictures lately, have you?
No, and I don't want to, but thank you.
I saw a video with Nene Leakes, Portia, and like all these other women. I'm like, is this a filter that y'all in your face and it's just bouncing around, or this is how all y'all look? Y'all look the same. Like your faces,
and they're being
wild.
Accused of Kardashianing themselves.
I'm mad that I'm mad that they get after the Kardashians, but okay.
I take a lot of photos with people and women. I have to tell them, can you please take that Snapchat filter off? Because now you're making it look like I got a filter on and I look 17. Your facial hair goes away. I don't know. Your skin gets blushed out. I'm like, come on, man.
Don't do me like that.
Right. You go post like, man, what old boy on? You know what I mean? Been hanging with Diddy. No.
Take that.
Well, it is. I've missed you guys. I'm so glad you all are back, and I look forward to continue our conversations. I know that you all are out on the road and I guess Damon was in a real hurry to get out of here.
No, that was just my internet, I guess.
Okay.
Blame T-Mobile.
We're going to close out with the jewel, Yogi's jewel. Be optimistic. Optimism opens the door to infinite positive possibilities. Yeah, and I'm here with three very positive fellows here. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care. And thank you all for participating. Aloha.